So today we're going to have Carl Morgan talking to us about the economic development in the City of Indio. I want to do a little bit of a quick bio for him. Prior to joining the City of Indio as the Director of the Economic Development, Mr. Morgan served as Chief Executive Officer of San Diego North Economic Development Council in San Marcos, California. Mr. Morgan has more than 28 years of experience as an economic development and redevelopment professional. He has a Bachelor of Arts in Geography, and the degree is from California State University of Fullerton. He's been working for the City of Indio since 2016, if I'm correct, and he's been doing a great job. Very, very helpful individual for those of us out here who are working on development and getting businesses started up. Carl, I'm going to drop this off to you now.
Okay. Hey, well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to chat with you this morning about all the great things that are going on in our city. What I can tell you is it's been obviously a very challenging 4 months for all of us. We're no different. Luckily, our budget isn't as bad as some of the other cities in the Valley, but I can tell you that this will pass. We just have to try and keep positive attitude and put our smiles on every day and try and figure out how to do something good for our communities or our businesses. Our council's been very supportive. We got our budget adopted, and economic development and development activity in general has not slowed down in our city. And I'm happy to say that all the projects that we've been working on collectively together in the city are continuing to move forward. And for some reason, my things came up saying the internet is unstable, which is kind of scary. But what I'm going to do is share screen and put a presentation up, and I'll kind of walk you through it. And then I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. Can everybody see that now?
Yep.
Okay, great. So what I'll say is, you know, Indio is, we're obviously the fastest growing city and the largest city in the Valley. Our average age is 33.1 years old. Very young community, a lot of youth, a lot of young folks, and a lot of future for our community. A third of our residents are under the age of 17. So we really do need to have a lot of activities, a lot of things for them to do. I'll tell you that we have a really bright future in our city and in Coachella Valley, and I know that's hard to realize right now, but I believe that a lot of good things are to come out of this COVID-19 realization that we really are a tourist-based, festival-based kind of economy, and we've got to diversify our job base, and just like we do when we do an investment portfolio, not put all of our eggs in one basket. But this is just kind of a little snapshot of our community, the Valley itself. And you know that we're trademarked as a city of festivals, and unfortunately this year we were unable to have Stagecoach and Coachella, but I'm confident that next year in April, and I also believe in October of next year, we'll have a second concert. Not to say that that's actually, I have knowledge that it's going to happen, but I have a sense that we will have another kind of desert trip type of activity in our valley in the future. I'm hopeful personally that it's next year. We'll see what happens. There's a lot of things with COVID that have to happen before we can even have a concert, as you well know. We are the top 500 fastest growing economies in the US. We have 40 million people that are within a 4-hour drive of the Coachella Valley. And that, I think, is a lot of opportunity for us. These are our key economic development zones that we focus in on. You can see one on them are all The North Indio commercial area, you've noticed that our shopping centers have turned over a little bit. We've had a lot of success in repurposing some of the larger big boxes in our retail center. And then we were fortunate enough to have Red Mountain Group buy the Indio Town Center, which has been a really great purchase by them. And they've put a lot of tenants in, which I'll share with you. Fantasy Springs, we're working with them on a 102-acre site that they own, which is fee land that's right out in front of the entrance across from Shandy's Arco Station. There's a 102-acre site there. They want to do a major mixed-use project on, and we're working with them behind the scenes on that piece of real estate. One of the big opportunities, I think, in our community and any of the communities in the Coachella Valley that have it would be the opportunity zones. And that is primarily an overlay of our industrial area in our community, but it's also some lower socioeconomic census tracts. But that is set up to give capital gain relief to investors that would either buy a property and expand it, or buy a piece of property and build a new building on it. And there's a lot of opportunity within that opportunity zone, not only for business park kind of stuff, but also mixed use residential over retail in certain areas. And I would encourage you that on the call that are interested in doing development to really reach out. We should talk about where those opportunities are. You're of course in the retail and real estate business, so you know where those are, and you know what you're looking at when you see it. One of the areas that I think is a really great opportunity is in the Midtown District, which is part of our new general plan that got updated. And within that kind of Monroe Highway 111 kind of four corners, if you will, two of those are actually in the opportunity zone. And I think there's some tremendous opportunity there to do some stuff. Number 7 on the map is our health and wellness district, and that's over by JFK. And I think there's going to be a number of things that happen over in that area. One that I think will happen eventually is our Metro 8 that the agency, the former redevelopment agency owns, will become some medical related stuff downstream. It just makes logical sense to do that. And then of course, Empire Polo and the El Dorado Polo district, constantly working with Mr. Hagan to improve and do some things down in that area. We're actually working with him on a development down there right now. And then along Highway 111, that for essentially adaptive reuse of some of those older centers and some of the vacant land there. So that's just kind of a snapshot of the economic development zones within our community. Of course, I went over downtown, but I'll talk to you a little bit about downtown in a minute or two when I get to these slides. So one thing we've been blessed with in our community is about 3 years ago, the council put an initiative on the ballot and the voters approved Measure X, which was a 1% additional sales tax. That has been a windfall for us, and it's allowed our community to invest $47 million in our infrastructure and capital improvements that we otherwise would not have been able to do. It's also been a nice little safety net for us in this economic downturn, because we're going to be able to use a little bit of that for this year's budget to offset. But we'll continue to invest those dollars in infrastructure and capital improvements in the community as we go forward. And just so you know, we're also working on a public safety campus, which is a new fire and police station, and that's being funded out of those dollars. So we're very fortunate in that regard. A big thing that happened last year in September of 2019, the council adopted a comprehensive new general plan for our community. And while we all kind of take general plans for granted, it really is a blueprint for the future of the community. And we had one that was pretty old and outdated. It's incorporated some really good concepts to encourage new development and to get into the 21st century of the kind of development that you typically see in a community. We're very excited about it. There's a lot of really cool pieces to it: connectivity, neighborhood opportunities, workforce employment districts, commercial districts that are going to encourage mixed use. And in the next 18 months, we're going through a comprehensive zoning update to bring the zoning in line with the new general plan in those areas of the city that we need to do that in. One specifically is Highway 111. We recognize the need to do that. Another big thing that happened this year, honestly, literally on the heels of COVID hitting us, was we adopted the new downtown specific plan. And this is an artist rendering that's in the specific plan that shows kind of what the specific plan will allow within the downtown. You can see 3- and 4-story buildings in this scenario. It'll allow 4-story outright and 6 stories, up to 6 in certain areas with community benefit. But what we want to do is additional retail, art, housing, and really turn our downtown into that thriving hub that it used to be. For those of us that were around in the 50s and 60s, it was the place to be. And then, as you know, in the 70s and 80s, it died, and in 90s, beyond that, the agency was buying up all the property and taking it down and making nice little grass lots. Well, they were essentially laying the groundwork for us to get this going, and then, find the right development partner to roll forward. But I encourage you to go online and take a look at our specific plan. There's a lot of great opportunity there. We own a significant amount of property in our downtown, and we've been able with that to leverage it and create some good partnerships. One of those in our first downtown mixed use project is with Coachella Valley Development Partners, and they're going to be doing a 70-unit, 4-story, over 7,500 square feet of retail at the hard corner of Bliss and Oasis. So that's the northwest corner, catty corner from where the new College of the Desert is going to be building their new 68,000 square foot building, campus building. It's a really great project. These are actually artist renderings that they've been working on. It's going to go to the Planning Commission on August 26th, and then I'll be bringing the DDA forward to the council at the soonest possible date after that. They'll break ground next year, and we're in an exclusive negotiating agreement with them currently. We had about a 1.5 to 2 year conversation through an RFP process that we did for the downtown. We entered into a exclusive negotiating agreement with PSDG, Indio LLC, and we have since that time been working, they're working through doing market feasibility, hiring architects, putting together their information based upon that market analysis that they've done or have looked at. And then that's ultimately going to culminate into a disposition and development agreement and a plan that conforms with the downtown specific plan. And the beauty of that is what they're proposing will actually fall right within the parameters that have been previously approved in the specific plan and the CEQA document that was done. So there were certain development thresholds in the EIR to allow for up to 300 rooms of hospitality, a conference center, residential, mixed use, and a number of other things. 500 units of residential was pre-approved, X amount of square feet of non-retail, commercial, and retail. So it really did collapse the time frame that you need in terms of being able to roll forward with development. And we feel very fortunate about that, and we're going to continue to roll this project forward and get input from the council and roll it forward. These are renderings of the new College of the Desert campus that's going to get built. They're about 70% on their construction drawings now. They still intend to open this in winter of 2021, which means they'll break ground next year. They're also doing a child development center south of their existing campus, and that is going on the old Safeway site. So they bought that half block along Oasis, south of their existing Indio campus in downtown, and they're doing that concurrently. The beauty of this is they have the money, There's nothing slowing this down or stopping it. They're going to continue to roll forward. This will put our population, student pop in downtown, to roughly 15,000. Currently, it's about 6,000, 6,500, depending on how you look at it, and depending on time of day, whether it's weekend or weekday. But we're really excited about this. It'll be a beautiful addition. We've already sold the land to them in a disposition and development agreement. And as I said, they have the bond money already in the bank to do the project. So they're both rolling forward. We're very lucky to have that community partner. This is the Courthouse Bar and Grill that was entitled at 111 in Smurf Street. It was fully entitled by the applicant, and they're looking for someone to pick this up and build it. To date, I haven't been able to find someone, but I'm confident that when the right party comes along, this will happen. It's obviously perfect across from the Larson Justice Center. And, you know, with the jurors coming out every day and needing to go have a bite with the attorneys and so forth and their clients, this would be a beautiful place for folks to go over there and enjoy. But it did get fully entitled, and unfortunately the people that entitled it didn't have the financial wherewithal to actually build it. That's unfortunate. But the good news is it's entitled, and it will happen. This is the Opportunity Zone, just some information on that. You can find all this on our economic development website. We have a pretty robust website. If you go to indio.org and then click on the Opportunity Zone icon, it'll take you right there. There's also a map in there that I would like to let you know about that has the new general plan overlaid over it. So when you look at that map with the general plan overlay, the opportunities literally will jump off the page at you. You'll see the mixed use area. You'll see the workforce employment area. You'll see the, you know, some of the dirt that's vacant. And I think that that's something that I would encourage you to take a look at. And if you want to get together with me and chat, you know where to find me, email, and in the office. The new take, they have obviously outgrown their existing location. The kids bought this property and they're building the new TKB. They're also talking to some folks about doing a little brewery next door. So all of that is kind of in motion, but it should open this year. Ring Power, we brought in 50 new jobs, corporate headquarters. Unfortunately, this company makes a living on concerts, bringing cabling and electric generators to those locations. So literally the bottom of their business fell out when COVID hit. When Coachella didn't happen, when all of the concerts across the nation didn't happen, their balance sheet went from, you know, very robust to a goose egg. They still have a skeletal crew there, and you know, I don't know where things are right now, but they did make a significant investment in the building, and we sold them some property. They're a good corporate citizen. They're actually a subsidiary of CAT, which is the Caterpillar big earth moving equipment kind of stuff. Hampton Inn and Suites is our newest hotel. They've had some issues with COVID, but they are actually going to open this month. And that's a 93-room Hampton Inn and Suites in the Palm Shopping Center, right there adjacent to where the Maya Theater is proposed to go, and in the Walmart Center, for those of you who would understand that reference. But that is going to open this month. But they've had some challenges with contractors and some things in that regard. But they've got that all under control now, and all they need now is essentially the Hilton folks to come out and bless the building, make sure that it meets their specs, and then get their C of O from us. And we certainly won't be an impediment to them getting their C of O. Maya Theater, I know we've been talking about this a long time. Obviously, theaters are really in a quandary right now. They've all been shut down. They were told they could kind of open with 25% capacity, and then they were kind of told, well, that's not really the case. But Moctezuma Esparza, the owner of Maya, I continue to talk with him on probably a weekly basis, at least monthly. And he still fully intends on building this theater in our city. He's committed to doing that. He's bought the land. He's got, $1.5 million plus in plans. And it's just a matter of, getting this COVID thing washing through so that, we can get people back into theaters and movies. But right now we're kind of thinking that it might be a 2021, depending on what we want to call it. More bad news. Golden Corral, no big deal, but people evidently love this. They should be opening next year. They should be breaking ground here pretty soon. The plans are almost finished. Chipotle is going into a little tenant shop on Jackson and in the Showcase on the north end. So we're really excited about that. I like Chipotle. I don't know about you guys, but I enjoy their food. So I plan to go there for lunch here and there. There'll be a couple of other tenants that'll be going into that. Buzzbox Premium Cocktails, we were able to bring them into a portion of the Super Target building. They opened in fall 2019. They're actually going to have a grand opening. They've never been able to do that yet. They started to do it in, I want to say it was March, and it got postponed, obviously, because of the COVID. But they will be doing a grand opening here. I want to say it's sometime in September, but they've been talking about doing that now. But we're really excited about them. Their growth has been almost vertical. They're in Costco's now. They're in all kinds of big retail locations, and everyone loves their cocktails. Vallarta Markets is actually, their TIs are being done now. They're a success story for us. This, I think, will be their fourth store. It's a high-end Hispanic market. It's going in the old Marshalls in the Showcase Shopping Center. And we're really excited about it because it's another great grocery store in our community. I think that it will be highly frequented. And if you've ever been in one of these, they're a really nice store. Really good stuff. Five Below opened in November last year in the Indio Town Center. Ulta Beauty in February of this year. Old Navy's coming into that same center. Ona Hawaiian Barbecue is coming in, and I can't wait for that to come in. It's going to go next to Panda Express in the Indio Town Center. And then we've got another little shopping center, Desert Crossroads, that's coming into Highway 111 and Jefferson Street. It's a EOS Fitness and some shops and restaurants. So that'll be kind of cool. Nice reuse of that land. And then the Indio Grand Marketplace, I know you guys are all familiar with Mr. Hagan. We have an ENA that was approved with him in March of 2019. We've been working with him through multiple iterations of a site plan on his property. And he's gotten to the point now where he's kind of refined that site plan to include also the 18.8 acres that the city owns behind the mall. So to the south toward John Noble, we're ENA and development agreement and convey that property to Mr. Hagan at a fair market value price. And then he's going to build back behind there. I want to say, let's just say roughly 5 or so retail pads, about 120 key hotel, and about 250 apartments in that real estate. And then a really nice outdoor kind of activation community gathering place that both the center can take advantage of and the adjacent neighborhood. So he's getting real close on those plans. I think they'll start being daylighted here in probably the next month or so. But they've been actively marketing the shopping center to tenants through, I think it's now Kidder Matthews and some others. But we're really excited about revitalizing the Indio Grand Marketplace. We've got a revivals going in the balance of the old Kmart on Highway 111 that's adjacent to Yale Super that's currently there. And we're really excited about that. Revivals is a cool little place to shop. JFK's investing more money into their operation. They're doing a 7,213 square foot admin building, and then remodeling, and expanding their emergency room. The John J. Benoit Detention Center, originally, this is a beautiful building, and I understand, I don't have actual factual information, but I understand that the county doesn't have the funding to actually fully open it and occupy it with guests. They're working on trying to work through and figure out how they're going to do that, what that's going to look like. I understand that it's actually ready to go, but they haven't quite unveiled the plan yet. But ultimately, it does have 1,273 beds, and it ultimately will generate 450 permanent jobs in the community with the folks that work there. I have reached out to them to try and find out more information about what they're going to put in there. I think they're going to use it for some social type programs in the interim. But again, I don't have any specific details on that. I'm hopeful that we'll get some people going in and out of there here fairly soon, because obviously that feeds our restaurants and retail, and people like to buy gas and stuff as they're going through our community. We're working with Andreas, who owns the Unicars Honda. He's buying about an 8.5 acre site from us that we own on Warner Road, and he's doing it certified owned Honda. We're essentially just negotiating price on the land. Just got the appraisal the other day, so I'll be talking with the council in closed session and then getting direction from them. But then we'll convey this and get him going. He'll get open. I actually said October 22nd, but I honestly think we can get him open next year. I think he's far enough along that we'll be able to make that happen. And then we're working with another owner in our auto center to bring a Kia dealership into our auto center, and we're real excited about that. It's a really classy individual that owns a dealership in our community, and we're really excited to be working with him to make that happen. And then, as I said, our city hall, while it's been not open to the public, people have been able to make appointments to come into the city hall. We have not stopped our building permit inspections. We have not stopped our planning processes. We have continued to have meetings and approve projects and keep things going forward. And I'm happy to say that we've got a lot of residential under construction. A lot of the major builders are coming back and reaching out to us and wanting to pick up tracts of land and build more residential in our community. We're going to see a continued increase in the value of our properties and desire for residential in the Coachella Valley because of the people that want to get out of LA, they want to get out of San Francisco, they want to come to a less dense urban area and in a nice environment where they can enjoy all the amenities of the Coachella Valley. And with that, I just appreciate your time and attention today, and I thank you for all that each of you individually do for our valley and for our communities. And I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Well, excellent. We do have a question in the chat. They're wondering, and so am I, is there any way we can get a presentation or a copy of the presentation?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's too big for me to email, but what I'll do is I'll have Vanessa put it in a Dropbox, and then I'll send it to you, Rodney, and then you can disperse it.
Sounds great. Sounds great. Anyone else with any questions for Carl?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear your question. Roddy, did someone ask a question?
Okay, now I'm unmuted. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody else have any additional questions?
Oh, I'm just hearing someone talking on the phone.
Yeah, sorry.
No, no worries, it happens.
Here we go. We've got some more questions on the chat.
Okay.
Um, can you elaborate on the new 45-day fast track processing recently adopted by planning?
All I can say is that our planning department does bend over backwards for developers and residents that are coming in with plans to get them approved. I don't have the information in front of me, but I do know that our community prides itself on customer service. We're here to serve the public. We're here to serve the business community. And we do everything that we possibly can to expedite and move things forward in a very swift process. We're a horizontal, we're a horizontal organization. We're not vertical. We communicate with one another well and work together closely. So anyone that we have to bring into a conference room to solve an issue, to be able to roll it forward, we do.
Okay. Nyla, you're asking about an email of the copy of the presentation. It's a little too big to go ahead and email, but we'll go ahead and make sure we send that out to you. Robin Default is asking, what are the plans for student parking at COD with the expansion?
Oh, okay. That's a great question, Robin. Thank you for asking that. I should have touched upon it. We bought the white steel lot. We bought white steel in downtown. We own that in fee. They were tenants of ours for some time. They've now left that property, gone to their thermal location, and we're taking down the improvements on that property. We've always communicated with College of the Desert that would be kind of a joint use parking garage. And so we'll be hiring a company to look at that, give us some cost estimates for it. And we'll be working in partnership with, I believe, 3 entities. I believe it will be our master developer, COD, and the City of Indio. And I think that will be a location for one of our parking garages. I believe that there's going to be a need, and the specific plan actually talks about it, to have 2 in downtown. Also keep in mind, ahead of a couple of years, because we're going to have COD's 2 buildings. We're going to have Coachella Valley Development Partners building. We're going to have this site, the parking garage that we talked about, and the master developer in kind of the heart core of downtown. So there's going to be a lot of construction activity, a need for laydown lots, and shifting student parking over to white steel. So I think that they're going to have a surface parking lot there initially. We're going to scrape it, put some kind of impermeable surface down, and students will be able to park there while COD is building their new 68,000 square foot second student building.
I have a question, Carl. With all the additional construction that's going to be happening in the downtown area, will things like the Tamale Festival and still have a home there, or are we going to find a different location for those?
Well, we've always talked about that, and I think we're getting to that point now for next year that we're probably going to have to look at moving that somewhere else. And we don't know exactly at this moment where that's going to be. I understand way back when it was done on Miles Avenue Park over in that area. I believe someone mentioned to me, and forgive me because I wasn't here. I've only been in the city now 4 years, but I believe that at some point they were doing them over at down in the Polo Ground area at some point. But yeah, we're going to find a new home. Obviously, it's an international tamale festival. It brings about 150,000 people in for the 3-day event, and we want to find it a home. But to your point, if all this construction comes to pass at one point, there's no way there's going to be enough space for them to do their thing in downtown. But rest assured that we'll figure that out.
Excellent.
But for this year, this December, if COVID doesn't stop it, we'll be able to do it in downtown.
Excellent, excellent. Robin has another question. How are the plans for the transportation center going?
Actually, they're going really well. Our transportation center, we got a grant to do a study for that transportation center. The temporary lot or temporary platform that was approved by council and there's funding for, that was supposed to happen this year, is still going to happen next year. So that $9 million temporary platform is going to be built for concert goers to come out next April. But in addition to that, we some significant things have happened. One, feasibility stuff for the new platform, the new train station, if you will. That's rolling forward, and Public Works is championing that. We also were put in a position where we could actually designate that site as our transportation facility. We had to wait until the time was right and RCTC got their documents together, because you can't get out ahead of it. But we're going to continue to push that forward. And, it's going to be some time before you actually have that happen, because you have to go through a process where you have to then build it, you design it, build it, and then you have to go to the railroad because they own the right of way. And you have to go to them and say, what do we need to do? Well, first off, will you allow us to do this? And secondly, what do we need to do in terms of improvements to your tracks for you to actually allow us to do it? And so there's a really long, protracted process that we're going to have to go through. But our community is committed to doing it, because it's going to be, ultimately, we hope, an Amtrak stop and an opportunity for people to be able to ride the train as opposed to being in the car. It obviously would create a really great opportunity in our downtown for people to be able to come in. And for those of you who were at the State of the City last year, you saw kind of the images of what we were hoping that train station could look like in kind of a futuristic way for downtown. And that was just kind of to let people know and kind of whet their appetites. But we're really excited about it. I personally think that's probably a 10 to 15 year kind of gig. It's not going to happen tomorrow, but you have to plan for things, and you have to put things in place to make that happen downstream. So that's more of a long range goal and plan for us, but it's certainly on our radar screen, and we're continuing to work on it.
Excellent, excellent. Polo has another question. What is the timing on the new car dealers?
I think that's next year for both of them. I think they'll both be out of the ground and open next year.
Excellent, excellent. Does anybody else have any additional questions for Carl? No? Okay. Carl, I want to thank you for all you do, not just coming to talk to us, but all that you do. You are a fantastic representative for the City of Indio, and I know that economic development is truly a passion of yours.
It is. And thank you for that. I really appreciate that. It means a lot.
And we're going to go ahead and move on to our marketing meeting. I don't know if you want to stay here for that, Carl.
Well, if you want me to stay, I'll stay. And if you don't,
I'm not going to kick you out, but I know you probably got a lot of things to do.
I do. Thank you all again. Really appreciate it. Stay well, stay safe, stay positive, and this too shall pass. We're going to be fine.
Thank you so much, Carl.
All right, thank you. And I'm gonna exit and go do some other stuff.
Excellent.
Thank you.